Hi friends, in this video we will talk about how to delete the duplicate records from a given table in SQL Server. Basically, there are different ways to delete or identify the duplicate records in SQL, but in this video we will talk about easiest and the most effective solution that will work in production DB as well. First step, we have to identify what is duplicate records means. So duplicate record is nothing but if the record is repeated more than once, that is nothing but a duplicate record. In my case, I'm using the employee table. In this employee table, the identification column or primary key column is the ID column. I'm not using the constraint, but the identification column in this table for duplicate record is ID column. For ID 1 and 2, you see there are more than one record. So we have to identify the duplicate records from this table. For that, I'm using the row number. In that row number, in partitioning, I'm using the ID column because it is my identification column for duplicate record. So I'm using the ID column. So after using this ID column, what will happen internally is basically in ID column, I have five distinct individual values, right? Five individual values in ID column. So I'm using the ID column in partitioning. So my table will be splitted into five individual parts internally. So partition one will be created for ID1 and partition 2 will be created for ID2. For partition 3 will be created for ID3. For partition 4 will be created for ID4. For partition 5 will be created for ID5. So here I'm using the row number. Row number is nothing but a window function that will generate the sequential number to each and every row within the partitioning. Within the partitioning. So the row number will be start from 1 in every partitioning. So if you see, I created 5 partitions and every partition the number will be start from 1. Here in partition 1 I have 3 records, right? Again I need to tell to the SQL server the row number in what order you want to generate, that number in which order you want to generate. So I'm telling to the SQL server, do it on the basis of order ID. So for this particular first record, I'm generating the number 1. For second record, number 2. For third record, I'm generating the number 3. In the next partition, the number will be start from 1. So here the value will be 1. The next value will be 2. Same way for new partitions also, the number will be start from 1. So this is how the row number will be worked. So if I run the query, the same numbers you will see here. So for every partitioning, the number is starting with 1. Right? The number is starting with the 1. Within the partitioning, how you are generating the other numbers is based on the order ID. So here my order is same for all the records, but for first record, the rank will be 1. For the second record, the rank will be 2. For third record, the rank will be 3. Same way in other partitions also. So after creating this result set, I will use the CTE here. For fetching the duplicate records, I can use the that new column where RNK greater than 1. If it is greater than 1, then those are the duplicate records. So these three are the duplicate records: rank 2, 3, and the second, this one, ID2. So I have to delete this data. For that, I can use the delete statement. So now the three records are affected. In your table, you will see the good data without duplicate data. Now the table is without duplicate data. This is one of the solution. So here, even if you want to run this method in production, whatever the columns you want to identify that particular record is a duplicate record, those key columns you have to specify here in place of ID. Those key columns are primary key columns you have to specify here. In other approach, basically the same approach, but in real time, what will happen is whenever you are creating the table or loading the data, you will maintain the audit column also, right? Now my table is created with this particular audit column. Apart from the key columns, I'm created one column batch ID or timestamp, the record timestamp. So those details also you will capture, right? That audit information because this audit information will tell you this particular record inserted at which point of time. Those details this audit columns will capture. So here this particular record is inserted with batch id 1, and these second record and third record is inserted with batch id 2 and 3. So those information also we will capture. Now in partitioning I'm using the same column, id column, but now the question is, from these three records which two records you want to delete. So the business direction is you have to delete the old batch id data. Means the max batch id data is the latest record, this is the latest one, and other two records are the old records. This is the old record and this is the old record. So the business direction is they have to delete, they are saying to delete the old data. We have to keep only the latest data. So in that case what we have to do is, in the partitioning I have to still use the id column, but in order by I have to use the batch id. In batch id in which order? In descending order, because by default if I keep the batch id what will happen? So if I go to that example, this is my other table with the batch id. This is the other table with the new column. Here, this particular record is having batch ID 1. So the business direction is to keep the latest batch ID and delete the old batch ID data. This data I have to delete. Same way from partition 2 also, the old data means the less batch ID data we have to delete. The max batch ID only we have to keep. So if I do the in batch ID in order by, I'm using the batch ID column. So by default it is a ascending order. By default the order is ascending. So the row number is generating based on the ascending order. For batch ID 1 the row number will be 1. For batch ID 2 the order is 2. For batch ID 3 the order is 3. But our requirement is to keep the max batch ID, means latest record we have to keep and the old data we have to delete. So for that reason I am generating the row number in descending order. For 3 I will get 1, for 2 I will get 2, for 1 I will get 3 if I do the descending order. So if I do the descending order, the row number generated in descending order. So here I will use the CT. Then greater than 1. So here the old batch ID, from here batch ID 2 and 1, here also the old batch ID. Then I can use the delete statement and deleted the data. Sometimes in place of batch ID you will have the timestamp as well. In that case also, in place of batch ID you can go with the timestamp. Based on the business direction you can do the order and delete the data from your base table. This is one of the options. So in now the deleted data is deleted. Now I have the latest records, means latest record how I am identifying based on the batch ID. In your case you will have the different columns but the concept will be same. So that's all for today. Please subscribe and share my channel for more videos in SQL. Thank you so much.